Well, it's a short piece, as many of mine are, and my process is a little uh, I think what they call through composed. I start writing and then I just continue writing, and it seems like when it works, when you're in the zone, um, the uh, the music just follows kind of a natural emotional logic. I don't. I'm self-taught, so I don't structure the piece in terms of harmony or architecture or anything like that. And because of the process, because my works are very emotional, a lot of time, I mean, the source point for them is emotions and reflections on life. A lot of times, I don't know what the piece is about until I'm in the middle of it. It's maybe you as a performer have some of that process too, of like being in the midst of a piece and kind of going, oh, I'm feeling this, I'm understanding it.
Mm.
So that's kind of what happens to me with the pieces. And so I was in the middle of this and I realized that this really had a lot to do with the feelings I had about what my mother was going through. She was in fragile health, and her health continued to decline. And um, but she was a writer, and she was remarkable in her resilience and her ability to reinvent herself and to keep her spirits up. And so that's what the title is. It's like Paper Wings. It's her writings would lift her spirits as if on paper wings. Fragile but still lifting. So
Mm.
that's kind of what you know how the piece evolved.
Absolutely. That's really beautiful. I think that is amazing, and I think that when you're saying sometimes you're writing, and then you don't have necessarily a plan from the beginning, but that evolves and you figure it out
Right,
throughout your process.
right.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. And especially in this case, maybe something was speaking to you through her, and you're in this piece. And it's
You,
interesting.
Audrey, can I ask you, do you find sometimes that you as a musician find that something like that happens to you when you're rehearsing a piece? Or
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Every, you know, each time that I approach a new piece or a new work, I don't necessarily have a set process for approaching it. I mean, there are kind of general things that you do to start off with, but for me, I'm very much kind of intuition based. So as much as I try to set down and say, I'm going to make decisions about fingerings and bowings, I'm going to do my score study, make sure that I look at the piece structurally before diving in. Oftentimes kind of my intuition will just get the better of me, and I'll just dive in and start exploring.
right,
And so sometimes that's actually really nice. Sometimes you can find yourself in the deep end very quickly, and then realize you have to kind of backtrack, and then figure out some of the nuts and bolts to be able to understand it even better. But I
right.
think that kind of intuition based approach is kind of nice because it's almost like painting.
Yeah,
I do some painting when I am organized in my life and feel like I have the space mentally to do so. But it's like, with watercolor, you kind of just start with a line, and you kind of follow how the paint spreads on the page, and that's kind of a really refreshing process. So I'd say yes, in a way I do go through that similarly, and then you know find deeper meaning and draw connections along the way, as
okay.
opposed to kind of starting from, like, I know structurally what's going on, right from the beginning.
Right, right, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's one reason.